Hi, welcome back. We're going to be doing some stenciling today with Waverly paint on some drawers and cabinet doors. So let's get started right away. So we're going to look here at our first piece of the project, which is a little set of drawers painted in Waverly pink ballet slipper. And this is the stencil we're going to be using today. It's the bee motif. And I always encourage people to really take a look at their stencils, every little piece of it, because even these individual pieces can be used on their own to create a motif on your projects. So we're going to be using multiple pieces of this stencil today. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off areas of the stencil that I don't want to use for this drawer part. And what we're going to be doing with the drawer is we're going to be placing the bee directly over where the hardware goes to embellish that piece, that section, so that when the hardware is on there, then the bee motif will be behind it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape off some of this area right here that's around the bee, just in case my brush would hit that and then go through the stencil. It's just a little too close. So it's just a little insurance. And I'm just using blue painter's tape. So you can see there, I taped off this part of the stencil and this part. And I'm going to be stenciling the bee portion here. So this is the brush that we're going to be using today. This is just a traditional chalk paint stencil brush. And we'll start out by spritzing this with some water. And then just working that into our towel a little bit. We want the brush to be slightly damp. And that got just a little dampness on my drawer. So I'm going to just wipe that off. A little bit more spritz on the brush. Work that in. And we're going to be using the Waverly chalk paint agave today to do the bee. And I'm going to start out just by shaking that up real good to get it mixed. And I always like to set my paint upside down to get the paint moving. And so I'm going to take this and get it positioned. And I'm just putting it right over that spot where the hardware goes, so the bee will show through really nicely. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to secure the actual stencil to the drawer to make sure it doesn't slide around while I'm stenciling. I always want to make sure to do this. It's tempting just to, I'll just hold it. But what happens is you move slightly or you get interrupted, and then it's really hard to get placed back. So again, just using that blue painter's tape because we're going over top of some painted areas. So I'll give this another shake. Just have a little bubble in the paint there. I'm going to pop that. And I'm going to take some paint right out of my cap here. Just get some paint onto the brush. And then when you stencil, you're going to want to pounce your brush. So we're going to start out right away, just pouncing that brush down onto the area where we want the color to go through. Just pouncing straight up and down. You can angle your brush if you're having trouble getting into a little spot. And now the fun part, the reveal. So you're just going to want to carefully take up your tape. And there's the adorable bee motif. Now you can see I got a little bit off over here on the right, a little mistake because I didn't have it taped off, and some below the bee where it went through. No worries, we'll just get that corrected next time we have our pink tape out, or pink paint out. It'll be really easy to touch up that spot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rinse our stencil. I like to rinse my stencil every time in between so I don't have bleed through. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the tape. And we'll go rinse this off and be right back. All right, so that's been rinsed, and I'm just going to dry it off real well. You can always also use a damp towel to wipe off your stencil in between. I just prefer to rinse mine. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and tape off the areas again in the motif that we don't want to go through. And since we know we already had one go through on the last one, I'm going to do a little bit better job of taping up this area. I'm even going to go below the bee this time. And then you can be really generous when you're pouncing your brush. You can see it's a very wide brush, so it covers a large area. And go ahead and cover the crown as well. And then we'll position that right over where the hardware is to go. Right there, that hole. Make sure he's nice and straight. And then tape your stencil down so it doesn't move. I'm just going to take a little paint and pour it out here onto my brush. Just a little bit. And then we'll start pouncing. Pressing that paint into the stencil. All right, that's all you need. You can see how that looks. And now the reveal. The fun part. Oh, he looks great. Much cleaner on that one. I didn't make as many mistakes outside the stencil because I did a little bit better job taping it up, which shows the importance of doing that step. And he looks awesome. So there we have our two bee motif stencils over the hardware area, which will really make that hardware look great when we have that in there. So this is the silver hardware that goes there. And you can see how cute that'll look with the bee right behind the hardware. It's a great way just to spruce up your hardware and embellish it a little bit more with the stencils. So now we will remove our tape. And next we will be stenciling on some cabinet drawers. So I'll move him aside to dry. And this is what we'll be working on next. This is one of the cabinet doors from our piece. Again, painted in the Waverly pink ballet slipper. And we will be using some of the leaf motif from our stencil to do this one. So we're going to go ahead and rinse our stencil. And I'm just rinsing that right in my stainless steel sink with just regular water. Now I'm just drying it off really well, both sides. So for these cabinet doors on the stencil, we're going to be using the 3 leaves at the top. And we're going to be embellishing the corners. So one will go here in the agave green, and one will go here in the agave green. So we'll start by taping off parts of the stencil we don't want to use. So that's going to be this area by the bee. And I'm just folding it there where it went over the leaf. And then I'm going to also tape over the leaf that is below that one. Leaving a little bit of stem. So now you can see the very important step of the taping off. We just have this exposed and this exposed. And they will go here and here to embellish these cabinet doors. So now I'm going to go ahead and position that over the corner. And when I get it where I want it, I'm going to go ahead and tape it down real good. Secure that. Okay, and since we've taken a little break from our painting, I'm going to go ahead and spritz my brush. Get a little damp. And pour on a little bit more paint. All right, and now we're going to just start bouncing our brush straight up and down. And this will go real quick. And now the fun part, the reveal. Oh, that looks adorable. Look how cute that looks. All right, now we'll do it down here in the other corner. And again, tapping straight up and down. And the reveal. Oh, it's so cute. Really, really cute how that turned out. Can see how that really embellishes the cabinet door, really making it very cute and matching really well with our cabinet piece here, which has the green and pink. And so these are the glass cabinet doors that go on the front of this piece. Turned out really good. So we're going to continue to do the other 2 cabinet doors that go with this piece. So stay tuned and we'll move on to those. All right, so we won't rinse it this time just to see what happens. We'll see how it goes. So we're going to put that there. Use our same tape to secure it down. A little bit of spritz on the brush to moisten it. And then just start pouncing. Kind of angle and move your brush to get into some of those spots. And the reveal. Oh, it turned out so cute. Look at that. It's a great thing about using different parts of your stencil, and you can see it didn't get too messy, even though I did not rinse the stencil. So it depends how confident you are. We'll do this one in this corner. And I'm going to pour on a little bit more paint. Just a drop. I'm going to hold down this side. You can see how quick that goes. And the reveal. It's really instant gratification with stencils. They're really, really fun to work with. All right, so we're going to set that aside to dry, and we have one more cabinet door to do. Here's our last one. We won't rinse the stencil since that worked pretty good. Hope it works well again. And pouncing straight up and down, moving and angling your brush, pressing it in, and the reveal. So satisfying. All right, now down in this corner. And the reveal. Oh, beautiful. You can see how well that turned out. So here is the final door. And this will be going onto the front of this cabinet. 3 glass front doors that will match with this motif then. So we're going to take a short break. Tune in again later to see more work on the project. Bye.